Now that we have the oven totally apart, all the decks apart, there are two ways to build the oven, assemble the oven from scratch. The first way is to take a genie lift or a forklift, lift the bottom deck up, and then bolt each leg on. Each leg bolts on with 3 bolts and a washer on each bolt. And then the shelf runner connects the front to the back leg. That is then lowered to the ground. And then the second deck and the third deck are added after that first deck has the legs on it. The other way to do it is to take that bottom deck, put it on its back, and bolt the legs on each leg, and then again the shelf runners connecting the front to the back leg, and then lifting the bottom deck back up on its right side, on its wheels. Then attaching the second deck and the third deck. There are 2 ways to do it. It's preferred to be able to lift the deck and have it horizontal and bolt the legs on with either a genie lift or a forklift. That's preferred. Then you aren't stressing the oven's legs when you're lifting it upright. But if you don't have any kind of a lift, that is a possibility to bolt the legs on sideways and then lift it upright. Now we're putting our square rods back in place. They go in the front. There's a groove that they fit in, and then there's a square cutout in the back that they fit in as well. And you want to make sure that the rod is pushed all the way to the back wall where it's touching the wall. The other thing I want to show you is the back brace has 1 bolt in the middle, and it's a self-leveling. You can see if I push on one side then the other, it actually acts as a leveler, and that's to keep the stones, which are a natural type stone. They aren't perfectly level, so this helps to level them. Those stones are found in nature. They're a clay ceramic mix. So I just wanted to point some of those out. Some folks would maybe think that they're missing a bolt or something, but really it's not. It's designed to push up and down like that. So we're putting the spring back on. I've got my vice grips here. I'm going to take and put it on the front portion of this spring, hopefully with enough tension be able to pull this down and back around, and we've got our spring back in place. You can see it's back there. We've put our bolts back in, so we're ready now to put the stones back in the oven. Now we're going to slide the stones back in. We're going to start with the side stones first in a 3-stone oven. We'll put the middle stone in last. There are metal shims on the side of the oven to keep the stones nice and tight. When you're sliding the stone in, you want to make sure you're just missing those shims so the stone doesn't get caught up on it. So I'm going to slide it in right now. And then I push. Make sure it's nice and tight to the side, and then we'll go to the next stone. Now we're going to put these triangular pieces that go in the corner of each deck. So the top part goes in 2 slots up top first. So find it and put them in place, and then take this piece that goes in front of the stones, and you want to put these right in place, and then push it, and it'll actually find its way right in, so the bottom piece fits in snug against the stone, just like it came out. So these pieces are in place. Then we will eventually put our front plate on and put these screws on. The holes, you'll see the holes lining up. Okay, now I've put this right side piece in place, and I'm just going to I made sure that this top lip is gone on the inside, and we will fit this all in place and give it a little shove, and you can see your middle holes here are lined up. I can see my top holes are lined up, and now we are ready to reconnect all the electrical. Now we're going to reattach this lower. I'm just looking at this green ground wire, and I'm going to pair these up, and they just simply go right back together, and you'll hear a little click. I just heard that. And then I'm putting my ribbon between the display and the green circuit board. Again, it just pops back in place. I've got the little, I call them little lock clasps, and those go around. You put in one side, and then you push in the other side, and you'll hear it snap into place, and nice and easy, and that'll keep your ribbon from popping out if the oven gets jostled, like maybe the door's opening and closing. So there you have it, and I've also attached this blue to blue, and again, blue to blue, just clips together, and there you have it. Okay, now I'm reattaching the wires that go from the bottom incoming electricity up to the decks. So I put in L1, 2. Now I just attached the last one. This is actually the L1. These are L2 and 3. And now I'm tightening this down. So we'll bring the electricity up, and we'll make sure that they're good and tight, which they are, and we're almost done. So now to reattach this left side piece, we basically put the piece in, we make sure that all of the contours over here are in place. We again make sure that the top flange of metal is under this flange here, and the tricky part, and take your time with this, it'll come. You want to take your fingers and come back and find these flue handle holders to make sure that they are going to find their hole here. So as you're putting this on, you're moving this with the back of your hand, and you're seeing where it's going to line up with the hole. You do the bottom one, middle one, and then you slowly put it on, and then you find the top one, and then once you have them all lined up, you just hit it, and you will see all the holes lining up. And then make sure that the top part is around this hex head screw up here, and you're ready to go. Okay, now we put on these front plates. You put them back over all of the insulation. I wanted to tell you one thing, that the taller stainless steel screws go in the top part, and then underneath there is the short stainless. They will go in the bottom part. There's 4 of them down here. I just wanted to make sure that you didn't mix them up.